The atmosphere was electric from the very start, with fans filling every seat in anticipation of a showdown that had been talked about for months. JArON "Boots" Ennis, the undefeated welterweight phenom, stepped into the ring with the confidence of a fighter who had never tasted defeat. Across from him stood EIMANTAS STaNIONIs, a granite-jawed technician known for his relentlessness and discipline. Two contrasting styles, two unyielding wills, and one ring. It was the kind of fight you circle on the calendar the moment it's announced. And it didn't take long for the fireworks to begin. From the opening bell, Ennis made it clear that he wasn't here to play it safe. He came out with his trademark speed, bouncing on the balls of his feet, snapping his jab with intent and setting traps from the very first exchange. His footwork was smooth and deceptive, gliding in and out of range, throwing feints that kept STaNIONIs guessing. But the Lithuanian warrior wasn't intimidated. He held his ground, patiently waiting for his moment, absorbing the early pressure, and responding with crisp counters that reminded everyone just how sharp and accurate his punches could be. Ennis started finding success early, using his lateral movement to create angles and land sharp combinations. His left hook was particularly effective in the first couple of rounds, sneaking around STaNIONIs' high guard and rattling him with its speed and snap. But STaNIONIs didn't back down. He stuck to his fundamentals, kept his hands high, and walked through the fire with cold determination. Every time Ennis tried to break the rhythm, STaNIONIs fired back with a stiff jab and a compact right hand that landed more than a few times flush on the chin of the undefeated contender. As the rounds wore on, the tension only grew. Ennis, known for his flashy style and unrelenting offense, began to show flashes of brilliance. At one point in the third round, he strung together a dazzling six-punch combination: uppercut, cross, hook, body shot, and another uppercut that forced STaNIONIs to retreat for the first time. The crowd roared in approval, sensing a potential breakthrough. But STaNIONIs, as always, remained composed. He dug deep, adjusted his guard, and began pressing forward with more urgency, turning the tables in the fourth. It was in these middle rounds that the fight truly became a war of attrition. Ennis continued to move and punch in combinations, but STaNIONIs' pressure started paying off. He cut off the ring with textbook footwork, pushing Ennis toward the ropes and landing thudding shots to the body. A left hook to the ribs in the fifth visibly slowed Ennis down for a moment, a rare sight for a fighter known for his stamina and movement. That moment signaled a shift. STaNIONIs was growing into the fight, and he was doing it his way, methodically, deliberately, and without an ounce of hesitation. Round 6 was perhaps the most dramatic of the night. Both men threw caution to the wind and stood toe-to-toe in the center of the ring, exchanging brutal combinations that had the audience holding their breath. Ennis landed a blistering right hand that snapped STaNIONIs' head back, but the Lithuanian refused to budge. He answered immediately with a crushing left hook that caught Ennis off balance, sending a ripple of surprise through the crowd. The two traded shots for nearly the full 3 minutes, neither man giving an inch, both refusing to yield. It was boxing at its most raw and beautiful, skill, heart, and courage on full display. Despite the intensity of the exchanges, Ennis never lost his composure. His adaptability was on full display. By round 7, he began mixing up his rhythm, using more head movement and working the body with short hooks and uppercuts on the inside. STaNIONIs continued to march forward, but he was now taking more punishment in the process. A cut opened above his right eye from a perfectly timed jab, and while it wasn't fight-threatening, it was a clear sign that Ennis was pulling ahead in the technical battle. But what makes STaNIONIs such a dangerous opponent is his persistence. No matter how many punches he absorbed, he kept moving forward, kept throwing, and kept making Ennis work for every second of every round. He wasn't just trying to survive, he was still trying to win. In the 8th, he backed Ennis into the corner and unloaded a furious combination to the body and head, drawing ooze from the crowd. Ennis danced out of danger, but the pressure was relentless. For every highlight Ennis produced, STaNIONIs responded with gritty determination and world-class toughness. The championship rounds brought out the best in both men. Ennis, sensing the fight was close, upped the tempo once again, showcasing Why so many see him as the future of the welterweight division? His punches were sharper, his movement crisper, and his timing impeccable. He slipped under Stanionis' jab and landed a punishing right hand in the ninth that sent a shockwave through the arena. It wasn't enough to drop Stanionis, but it was a statement. Ennis was finishing strong. Round 10 saw Ennis put on a clinic, using the full ring, firing off jabs and quick flurries, never letting Stanionis set his feet. Still, Stanionis continued to press, absorbing the punishment and firing back whenever the opportunity presented itself. His face was showing the wear of battle, the swelling, the blood, the bruises, but his spirit was unbroken. With each step forward, he reminded everyone watching why he's one of the most respected warriors in the division. As the final round began, both corners knew what was at stake. Ennis didn't run, he stood his ground, trading with Stanionis in the center of the ring once again. It was a fitting end to an incredible contest. Punches flew from both sides, the sound of leather echoed through the arena, and the crowd rose to their feet in appreciation. Neither man wanted to leave anything to chance. Every second of that last round was a battle of willpower and pride. The final bell rang, and both fighters, exhausted and battered, embraced in the center of the ring. They had given everything. The decision was left in the hands of the judges, but the real victory was shared by both men, a night that elevated their legacies and reminded everyone why boxing at its best is the greatest sport in the world. Ennis had done enough to secure the win on the scorecards, but Stanionis had earned every bit of the respect that poured in from fans and pundits alike. In the post-fight interviews, Ennis praised Stanionis as his toughest opponent to date, acknowledging the grit and skill his rival brought to the ring. Stanionis, gracious in defeat, promised to come back stronger, vowing that this wasn't the end, only another step in his journey. Both men left the ring with their heads held high, and fans walked away knowing they had witnessed something special. This wasn't just a highlight reel of punches and footwork. It was a story told through sweat, pain, and heart. Ennis proved why he's a rising star, and Stanionis showed the kind of resilience that defines a true fighter. It was a battle that will be remembered, talked about, and replayed for years to come. Two warriors, one unforgettable night. This was JArON Ennis versus EIMANTAS STaNIONIs.